Monday.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable David Shirshir, Your Excellency, the Governor of Mombasa County, His Excellency Abdul Samad Sharif, my colleagues, the Principal Secretaries for Roads and for Transport, the Executive Secretary of Northern Corridor, Dr. Dengdiar, the Chair of Kenya National Highway Authorities, the DG, distinguished development partners, investors, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to join you today in this beautiful city of Mombasa for this important regional conference on roadside stations along the Northern Corridor. I bring warm greetings from the government and the people of the Republic of South Sudan and convey our sincere appreciation to the Northern Corridor Secretariat and the Kenya National Highways Authority for convening this timely and forward-looking forum. Ladies and gentlemen, over a decade ago, the vision of establishing roadside stations along the Northern Corridor was conceived, not merely as infrastructure, but as a transformative intervention to improve safety, efficiency, and overall experience of transport and trade across our region. From the launch of the program to this moment, we have witnessed sustained commitment, learning, and progress. Today's conference marks not just a continuation of that journey, but a decisive step toward unlocking investment, strengthening partnerships, and translating plans into tangible results on the ground. The Northern Corridor remains the backbone of our regional trade and connectivity. For landlocked countries like South Sudan, it is more than a transport route. It is a lifeline. It connects our producers to regional markets, our businesses to opportunity, and our people to the wider region and the world. However, the efficiency of this corridor is not determined by roads alone. It is shaped by the system and facilities that support those who use it. Roadside stations are therefore not a luxury. They are a necessity because they will provide safe and secure rest areas for drivers, reducing fatigue, as mentioned before, related accidents. It will also provide sanitation, health, and welfare facilities that uphold human dignity. It will also provide organized spaces for logistics, operations, and vehicle management. It will also provide opportunities for local economic activity, employment, and service provision. In essence, roadside stations bring order, safety, and humanity to our transport sectors. From an investment perspective, roadside stations represent a unique and viable opportunity. They are commercially attractive, socially impactful, and regionally strategic. This is why we must collectively work in order to develop clear and predictable regulatory frameworks, promote public-private partnerships as a sustainable delivery, and ensure harmonization of standards by states. By doing so, we send a strong and unified message that the Northern Corridor is open for business. For South Sudan, we reaffirm our full commitment to the development of roadside stations along our section of the corridor. Under the Northern Corridor framework, South Sudan has made steady and meaningful progress in strengthening regional connectivity and facilitating trade and transport. We have undertaken a comprehensive transport sector needs assessment, which has provided a clear, evidence-based understanding of infrastructure gaps, institutional challenges, and priority investment areas. This has significantly strengthened our planning and policy direction. In addition, through we have made progress in which is undergoing the government approval, institutional and technical capacity for various government agencies, enhancing coordination through provision of communication and promoting inclusive participation, particularly for women and youth in cross-border trade. These efforts reflect our commitment to building a resilient and efficient transport system. Distinguished guests, one of the flagship initiatives under the roadside stations program in South Sudan is the Nisitu parking yard constructed in Juba, as mentioned before by the Secretary. This facility represents a critical structure along the northern corridor. It is designed to provide safe and secure parking for trucks, thereby reducing roadside congestion and accidents. Improve driver welfare by enabling proper rest and compliance with safety standards. And enhance efficiency and infrastructure quality, such as Juba, Numili, and Juba Nadapal Road. Limited automation of custom systems contribute to high transport cost. Addressing these challenges requires sustained investment, a strong partnership, and coordinated regional action. South Sudan remains firmly committed to creating an enabling environment for investment through policy reforms, regulatory improvements, and support for public-private partnerships. We therefore call upon investors and partners to invest in the development and scaling up of roadside stations, support road safety infrastructure, including parking yards, rest areas, and enforcement systems, partner in the digitalization of transport and logistics systems, and contribute to capacity building and institutional strengthening. The opportunities along the northern corridor are significant, and time to act is now. As a government, we recognize the urgent need to improve road safety for our drivers and passengers, services, and create economic nodes that benefit our local communities. We are therefore ready private investors to make roadside stations development reality. This conference provides us with a rare opportunity. Let us use this platform to exchange knowledge and lessons among our institutions and the success of this initiative will not be measured but by the number of functional, well-managed roadside stations we deliver across the corridor in the years ahead. In conclusion, the Northern Corridor is not just a route, as mentioned by the Executive Secretary. It is a symbol of regional integration, shared prosperity, and collective ambition.
I had to clap to our PS from South. Allow me now, with the authority, to invite not only our host, say the governor.
Transparency, aiming to build a government that the people actively participate in. Please welcome Mombasa County Governor, His Excellency Swamad Sharif Nasir.
Waziri, Karib PSs and all the guests that I was two issues, Waziri, before I have to say this in a very light note about my name. When I was in Parliament 2 terms, So during my first term in Parliament, there was one person who never ever got an opportunity to let me speak. And that was me. The speaker would never allow me to speak. And I approached the speaker and I asked him, you know, you make it very, he said, because every time I allow you to speak, I go on news for pronouncing your name very badly because I have to. And I remember asking my late father, I told him, you know, your name was so nice and short, Sharif Nasir. To make headlines was very easy for you. Nasir does this. Now for me, if I do anything, for me to make headlines is so difficult because by the time they pronounce my name, Abdul Swamad, but from the beginning to the end, it is another nightmare altogether. The property that actually was being referred to is Mkupe, and I want to urge all of you who are here, Mkupe is actually on the Mombasa side of the Dongo Kundu bypass. The Mkupe restaurant is an example. It was actually financed by the county government of Mombasa through help with the World Bank project. It was a CHEMS-fed project, and they're doing quite well now that they're there. I also come bearing what the event was all about. I informed them, and actually the news that I want to be able to give is in line with why all of you are here today. The county government of Mombasa realized we have a problem. The number of trucks that are actually passing through Mombasa on a daily basis is in thousands. So when that was realized, we sat down with KPA, and then we sat down with all the stakeholders. That means the Transport Association and all the others who are involved. And we have a property that is about 40 plus acres that has been given the node by KPA. It has been given the node by all the other stakeholders that it is the most ideal for having a marshalling yard. For an investor, maybe I give you what that means. On an average, every single day, the port passes about 2,000 trucks. Now, what that will mean is no truck will be able to go into the port unless they have a call. And for them, instead of parking on the roadside, they'll have to be able to park into the yard. So you can imagine the level of movement that will be there in that yard. Two, there's already existing legislation, and this legislation is in regards to the petroleum trucks. The law basically says, the Energy Act actually is quite clear that every county government has to have a marshalling yard for any truck that carries petroleum and petroleum products. So that is already anchored in law. Of course, we have the Kenya pipeline that moves quite a number of the oil products. However, we have quite a number of trucks that are going to be carrying gas and liquid petroleum as well. And what that means, there's even a new investment that is coming up, actually about 2 or 3 new investments that are coming up on gas in Mombasa. So you can imagine the level of trucks that will be needed to be using that yard, a yard that will have all the amenities from the shops to the markets, malls, the petrol stations, lodging areas, and you name it. So it is something that is ideal. I'm informed that tomorrow there's going to be a breakfast meeting. I've informed my team to be able to sit down and articulate on this. We have a document that we will be publishing very soon. The Kenyan law is very, very clear. We cannot be able to directly just give someone a contract, but we will be advertising for that unless the PPP unit make a decision to make our life easy and they shorten that period. But we will be advertising for that property so that we can be able to collectively do what needs to be done. You as an investor make your money, the county government earns its revenue, and of course, logistics at the port, at the pipeline, you can imagine how easy it is going to be for us to be able to move. See as something else, I think I mentioned this to you on phone. The county government of Mombasa invested, using our own resources, we invested and put up smart CCTVs across Mombasa. As we speak right now, we have already installed and we are in the process of finalizing the first phase of these CCTVs. The initial idea was for us to be able to nab those people who are not paying our parking fees and those people who break all these other. But then with the concept that NTSA has done, and I know that it has gone back again for public participations, Kenyans are known for being maybe exercising their constitutional rights. Some define it as notorious in litigation. In whichever way that you want to look at it, we are more than willing to partner with all the other stakeholders. We have the infrastructure ready, which will have capacity for both facial and number plate recognition. And what that means is we will be able to now know a person who has been able to break law. We can reverse back and know what has been their trend, what way that they've been able to use and so forth. Issues to do with data protection as well is part and parcel of that project that comes hand in hand together. Waziri, lastly, this since you're here and I'm seeing that we have the DJs from Kenya and Kura as well, I think Mombasa and Nairobi are one of the counties that have a majority of Kura and Kenya roads. And a proposal that we have for yourself is bearing in mind that it is government to government. That means it is a county government with a national government state agency. We will be approaching you as well. That is, you know, because we're replicating works, because Kenya and Kura give contracts to people who are meant to be doing certain things like cleaning the drainages and, you know, on roads that belong to yourselves. Then the county government does the same thing. So there's a lot of replication. And we will be coming with a proposal to yourself that maybe allow us to be your handyman on the ground as a county government. And we can be able to do this. We can create terms of references. And we can also, we don't need to be paid upfront or we don't need anything else. You just pay us based on the performance that we are able to do. You create a performance index and we can be able to do what needs to be able to be done. So congratulations once again, Kenya. This is an amazing initiative. I wish to be able to try and get all the other corporations to do something like this. Think out of the box. Think as if a box doesn't exist, so that we can be able to see how can we be able to maintain these heritages that we have. And these are the beautiful highways, at the same time creating comfort for the pockets of investors as well. And lastly, the guard did not put it in a very, I don't think you heard him very clearly, but you know, in Mombasa, we have a law. And the law is very simple, Waziri. I've not been able to get it published because I'm told that I'm going to be very biased in this piece of legislation. But we take this very seriously. So please make sure that when you're in Mombasa, please finish all your money in Mombasa. Waziri, the conference goes on for today, and I think it's on for tomorrow as well. I was hoping that it was going to actually start tomorrow, and then it goes on the day after, so that everyone has a reason to be able to stay behind for the whole Easter holiday. But we have plenty of accommodation. Mombasa is a beautiful place. Please feel free to be able to visit us. And once again, thank you all. And congratulations to the organizers of this splendid event. I hope, if I'm not going to be there personally, my team shall be there at the breakfast presentation tomorrow. Asanteni sana. And I think, should I be the one to invite the seers? It's very rare I get this opportunity. Okay. Waziri, karibu sana. Karibu nyumbani. Karibu.
He is the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport, providing strategic leadership across Kenya's roads, transport and aviation sectors, and overseeing key agencies driving national infrastructure development. With a strong background in project development and institutional reform, he is spearheading initiatives that enhance corridor efficiency, logistics performance, and private sector investment. Please welcome Honorable Davis Chirchir.
Our Governor Mombasa, Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir. I don't know why my PS cannot pronounce that symbol name. PS is present. Our brother from South Sudan, welcome. Chair Kena Winfrida Ngumi. Let me just say, acknowledge everybody and really happy that we are all here this morning. I see a number of investors. It's great to be here to really talk to safety and talk to how we can make our roads more investment friendly, how we can really care for those who are on the road, linking up markets to markets and moving people from one end to another end. And like when Frida said, our roads we should move from just building roads because there are people who live in the roads. They leave Mombasa, and by the time they get to their destination, it is 96 hours. And then we really need to care for them and ensure that our roads do offer all the services that really provide comfort. So let me congratulate Kena with his colleague Deng for putting this conference together, ensuring that we talk beyond just building roads and supporting those who use the roads, but more important from a safety perspective. During breakfast, we were just talking with the colleagues in the holding room, and Governor noting that, you know, along the corridor, maybe a few kilometers on both sides of the corridor, is an economic corridor because of the road or because of the railway. And what starts as a kiosk, what we are calling today roadside resting place, could be a future town, a future city, a future county headquarters, because economic activities do happen along the corridors. And therefore, some very good thoughts into ideas Governor has just mentioned in a 40-acre facility that can have a great master plan that is well implemented and executed, can really not only provide a resting place for basically organizing trucks that go to the port, containers that needs to be prepared for shipping and return to their destination, but can be another city in terms of providing all the services, amenities. When these guys rest in those cities, like the driver we saw in the clip, they need entertainment, they need to shower, they need some sporting facilities. They need what we all need in life in terms of. And therefore, it is really what we are calling roadside resting places are actually upcoming cities. So we need good master planning. We need to get good, adequate accommodation in terms of land and attract investors. When Abdul Swamad talks about 2,000 trucks on our Mombasa, Nairobi, Nakuru highway, and we are adding more for LPG, I think Kenya will be exporting petroleum crude oil, and initially we'll be on trucks. We'll be putting an additional 300 trucks every day on the road. You can see the growth. And anybody looking at bankability and investment, you invest for people to use those facilities. In terms of bankability, these are great businesses, and want to assure our investors that these opportunities do exist. Kenya and the Ministry of Transport, Roads and Transport will protect your investments and want to attract those investments as an investment destination. We will be investment friendly. We'll make sure that your cost of doing business is going to ensure that the bottom line or your investment has got a return on your investment. And therefore, we want to encourage you to work with us while attracting and addressing safety. We do address your business, which in turn creates employment and grows our economy, grows our GDP, and so on and so forth. So great that we are talking about these roadside resting places today, but really, when you come to think about it, they are big investments, as it were. They actually turn out to be cities. I have a formal written communication for to open this great conference, and allow me, Governor and colleagues, to just go through that so that I don't miss out the structured presentation that has been put together. Let me start by saying it gives me great pleasure to join you today at this important Regional Highway Safety Investors Conference 2026, convened under the timely and strategic theme, Roadside Stations, a strategic opportunity for multimodal transport and highway safety. Allow me at the onset to commend the Kenya Highways Authority, KENA, and the Northern Corridor Transit and Transport Coordination Authority, DENG, the CEO for jointly, or the Secretary for jointly organizing this conference and bringing together public and private sector leaders around a shared regional vision. This forum reflects our collective commitment to building infrastructure that is not only efficient and modern, but also safe, resilient, and investment ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the Northern Corridor remains one of the most important trade and transport arteries in Africa. It is the economic lifeline connecting the port of Mombasa to the intraland, extending to Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, and DRC Congo. Within Kenya alone, this corridor spans about 840 kilometers from Mombasa to Malaba and serves as a critical channel for movement of goods, service, people, and ideas across the region. As trade volumes grow and our economies become increasingly interconnected, the demands placed on this corridor continue to rise. We are witnessing increased movement of heavy commercial vehicles, like Governor just mentioned, expanding logistics needs, heightened road safety concerns, and the urgent need for climate resilient infrastructure. These realities compel us to think beyond conventional road construction. We must now invest in supportive infrastructure that makes our highways safer, smarter, and more efficient, and more commercially productive. Ladies and gentlemen, the development of roadside stations presents a transformative opportunity for our transport ecosystem. Roadside stations are not merely truck stop or rest points. They are integrated corridor support facilities designed to deliver multiple outcomes. They enhance road safety by reducing driver fatigue through regulated rest areas, improve driver welfare and cargo security by offering secured parking, sanitation, accommodation, and surveillance, strengthen trade efficiency by improving logistics coordination and reducing delays, stimulate regional economic growth through job creation and local enterprise development, and create new infrastructure investments, opportunity, potential for sustainable returns. Are where transport efficiency meets safety, commerce, and investment. Distinguished guests, the government of Kenya recognizes that the future of transport infrastructure lies not only in roads themselves, but in the ecosystem that supports them. Thus, we are deliberately positioning highway support infrastructure as key frontier for investment. The opportunities before us are broad and commercially attractive, and they include, just mention a few, safe truck parks and rest areas, smart traffic and corridor monitoring systems, logistics hub and dry ports, rail and road intermodal terminals, efficiency response and highway rescue system like we had in the clip. For this guy who had been on that point for 9 days, ICT-enabled trade facilitation systems, and green mobility and climate resilient infrastructure. These are not theoretical possibilities. They are real, urgent, and bankable opportunities aligned to the current and future regional demands. No government can deliver transformational infrastructure alone. The scale of investment required demands strong and innovative public-private partnership, and I'm happy Engineer Kefa is here with the other PPP team to basically, during the term of the conference, talk to opportunities and how our PPP framework can support these investments. The government of Kenya remains committed to strengthening the enabling environment through policy and regulatory clarity, transparent procurement and partnership model, bankable project preparation, strong institutional coordination, and long-term infrastructure planning. We want investors to see Kenya and indeed the Northern Corridor not merely as a transit route, but as a high-value infrastructure and logistic investment. This conference is therefore not just a dialogue platform, but a market capital and partnerships. Ladies and gentlemen, pursue infrastructure growth and principle, highway safety. Our daily by truck drivers cannot speak of efficient transport without speaking offer a practical solution to this key safety concern on our highways in structured, secure, and serviced roadside infrastructure. We are not only protecting and improving transit, we are saving lives, and that must remain at the heart of our transport agenda. Our distinguished delegates, the future of corridor development lies in multimodal integration. The Northern Corridor must function as a seamless system connecting maritime, road, and rail systems into one efficient and competitive logistics network. This requires infrastructure that supports efficient cargo transition, digital system, trade systems, freight optimization, and improved last mile and cross-border efficiency. Roadside stations, logistics nodes, and intermodal facilities will be critical to unlocking this integration. When we invest in this system, we are not simply improving movement, we are expanding trade, enhancing regional competitiveness, and deepening East and Central economic integration. Ladies and gentlemen, modern infrastructure must also be responsible infrastructure. Investors and government alike are increasingly guided by environmental, social, and governance principles, and rightly so. The projects we envision under this initiative are aligned with key ESG priorities, including climate resilient infrastructure, green transport solutions, low carbon corridor development, driver and community welfare, job creation, and local empowerment, transparency, and regional cooperation. This is important because the system we build today must withstand. And of course, those of you who understand how right to ESG lenders and therefore investments will need us to ensure that we are ESG compliant. Is right. We present to you growing traffic demand, strong regional relevance, clear infrastructure gap, potential for commercial, viable, impact-driven investment. To engage deeply during this conference, meet our technical teams, build relationships, and most important, we are not simply asking you to fund projects, we are inviting to create a safer, more sustainable transport future. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the vision before us is bold but achievable. A northern corridor that is safe for road users, trade, more secure for cargo, more resilient to climate challenges, and more attractive to investors. Let this conference mark not just another gathering, but the beginning of opportunities. Allow me to reaffirm. Governor, you just mentioned roads are cleaner. The flowers are cleaner. The flowers are, or if we were to spend a bit of that money that we give to the maintenance contractors in our roads to maintain our beautiful cities, cleaner cities, good, because the governor would know the kind of powers that are befitting for the coastal region and ensure that the city is not only clean, but like I said, beautiful. So, Governor, we look at that request with respect to CCTV. Nation, are you in the house? Nation, where do I'm now struggling to pronounce your second name. Nation Godiwa is our DG for NTSA. You know, Nation, you just, yesterday we were sitting with you looking at how to implement the instant fine system to really address safety in our roads. I've talked with Governor about the number of smart CCTV cameras that are already installed within Mombasa, and we can collaborate. We can work, not just with Mombasa. We're doing it on people because we want to really do it off balance sheet. And if county governments have the and ensure that we the safety, because it's not so much for instant fines, it is to improve the conscious drive properly, don't overspeed. Ask your officials from the county government to spend here in Mombasa and see what we can do together. As the Minister for Roads, I thought that saying what governors echo, that they want us to spend Kenyans as they travel for Easter. Schools are closing, and certainly to be safe on, so that we come back from Easter without. Again, let me wish all of us a beautiful conference, and again, a very, very, as we prep for Easter later this week. Asante. Thank you.
Thank you so much.